Advance directives include a variety of legal and lay documents that allow persons to specify aspects of care they wish to receive should they become unable to make or communicate their preferences. Patient Self-Determination Act, a legislation requiring that every competent adult be informed in writing on admission to a healthcare institution about his or her rights to accept or refuse medical care and to use advance directives. The Patient Self-Determination Act is a law that indicates clients must be provided with information about their rights to identify written directions about the care that they wish to receive in the event that they become incapacitated and are unable to make health care decisions. On admission to a health care facility, the client is asked about the existence of an advance directive, and if one exists, it must be documented and included as part of the medical record. If the client signs an advance directive at the time of admission, it must be documented in the client's medical record. The two basic types of advance directives include living wills and durable powers of attorney. Living will lists the medical treatment that a client chooses to omit or refuse if the client becomes unable to make decisions and is terminally ill. Durable powers of attorney appoints a person, healthcare proxy, chosen by the client to make healthcare decisions on the client's behalf when the client can no longer make decisions. Do not resuscitate, DNR, orders. Primary care providers may order no code or do not resuscitate, DNR, for clients who are in a stage of terminal, irreversible illness, or expected death. A DNR order is generally written when the client or proxy has expressed the wish for no resuscitation in the event of a respiratory or cardiac arrest. Many primary care providers are reluctant to write such an order if there is any conflict between the client and family members or among family members. A DNR order is written to indicate that the goal of treatment is a comfortable, dignified death and that further life-sustaining measures are not indicated. If it is contrary to the nurse's personal beliefs to carry out a DNR order, the nurse should consult the nurse manager for a change in assignment. Family members may think that DNR means giving permission to terminate an individual's life. The term allow natural death, and is clear, more descriptive, and perhaps less threatening. The DNR is an order written by a physician when a client has indicated a desire to be allowed to die if the client suffers cardiac or respiratory arrest. The client or his or her legal representative must provide informed consent for the DNR status. The DNR order must be defined clearly so that other treatment, not refused by the client, will be continued. The DNR order must be reviewed regularly according to agency policy. All healthcare personnel must know whether a client has a DNR order. If a client does not have a DNR order, healthcare personnel need to make every effort to revive the client. DNR protocols may vary state to state, and it is important for the nurse to know his or her state's protocols. The nurse's role. Discussing advance directives with the client opens the communication channel to establish what is important to the client and what the client may view as promoting life versus prolonging dying. The nurse needs to ensure that the client has been provided with information about the right to identify written directions about the care that the client wishes to receive. On admission to a healthcare facility, the nurse determines whether an advance directive exists and ensures that it is part of the medical record. The nurse ensures that the physician is aware of the presence of an advance directive. All healthcare workers need to follow the directions of an advance directive to be safe from liability. Some agencies have specific policies that prohibit a nurse from signing as a witness to a legal document, such as a living will. If allowed by the agency, when a nurse acts as a witness to a legal document, the nurse must document the event and the factual circumstances surrounding the signing in the medical record. Documentation as a witness should include who was present, any significant comments by the client, and the nurse's observations of the client's conduct. During this process,